if I mention core themes to all of you, that means something. Mm-hmm. But to even my wife, core themes is craziness. What are you talking about? You know, explain to me, can you do Excel? Have you worked on project management? What do you mean this core theme? It means nothing to me, and in fact, you're just crazy. So
something else. It's not that easy.
Sarah?
One of the things that I was thinking was one of the tests we did with Ray was emotional intelligence, and I think that person would have to have a really high emotional intelligence to be able to. And I think that's probably something that is a thread that runs through most therapists. But just being able to read people would be really important. Yeah,
that's huge. Yes. Also, someone who brings to the table some personality. Not to say that the person wouldn't, but Ray, any consultant like Ray, who could blend in stories to make an example was huge for me. I know it doesn't work for everyone, but I remember sometimes the very specific stories that he would share with me. Like, a man driving home from his retirement party gets in a car accident and his life is taken. And then, having Ray then saying, well, I really hope he liked his job. And that would just make me think. I mean, I still think about stuff like that. Those things that really touch you, that become a part of you. That's the kind of individual you want.
And somebody will take your call for the first time and talk to you for 45 minutes.
And it's beyond that, because there's a balance of being able to be profitable at it, because whoever does this has got to make money. But there's got to be the flexibility, and Ray's done it for me, because I remember the panic phone call one time where I had gotten a position offered to me at Wright Express, and this other competing company called and said they wanted to offer me a job, and I said, look, I'm already, kind of committed. He goes, well, whatever they're doing, I'll double it on it. And I froze for a second, right? And I picked up the phone and called Ray. And Ray said, Scott, what do you want me to say? I said, I don't know, but I called you on this, and he goes, you already know your answer. You called me. Because one of the themes that came out for me was integrity, right? And so and that just hit me in the face. Like, oh, I know what I got to do. I've already committed. I'm not going to do this, right? So it was the ability to, to call him back, and he's not going to charge me for it. And that's what I've done. Now with my coaching, somebody wants to call me up for 25, 30 minutes to talk about something. I don't charge them. Why? Because it gets paid back in spades. So somebody that can balance not only that front end, but the back end too.
But you made a great point in that he really does call you on it. He will absolutely hold you accountable. And I remember a conversation similar where I called him and said, this seems like it's too good to be true. What should I do about this? And he will say, well, how does it fit with your core themes? You've already done that assessment. Really, why are you calling me? You know that.
He's like, oh, these people, they
just don't learn. Somebody done this.
Calling Dad to find out.
But it does make you step back and go, yeah, okay. But it's the way in which he does it that it's so valuable.
We don't hold convictions; they hold us, and he just reminds us of our convictions. He doesn't coach us, tell us, well, this. Have you thought? He just says, you've done the work. You know your core themes.
Yeah.
It's your call. It's your call. It's your call.
I felt like there was more of a relationship and it was less of a product.
Exactly. He personalized it. Like he made it personal, not customized it. But it was actually kind of customized too, just hearing, everybody in the room.
But you didn't feel like it when you were going through
exactly.
it.
That's
the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a structure and there's a process, but each person doesn't go through feeling like they're going steps A, B, C, D.
Yeah. And Ray was able to kind of identify, it sounds like, with each of us, because we also had a great experience. He was able to see sort of how we needed to have the program, how to process it ourselves. So I would say whoever does this needs to be able to read people. They need to have high emotional intelligence.
So we can turn off the recording if you'd like. What about the program really stinks?
Ray, oh sorry.
Yeah, other than Ray.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of that guy.
What would you? what shouldn't be done that's done.
Even that air conditioning off in the middle of summer.
I thought it was
I
always.
hated that. It was
It
always
was
so frickin'
freezing.
hot in that
See, I
office.
thought it was freezing in there.
What about other things?
Okay.
I think I found the stories to be really helpful to a point, and then there are other times I think they detracted to some extent. You know, I like to think, I need my space to think, and if it was quiet for more than a minute, Ray would tell another story. And I wasn't done thinking, and I was about ready to say something. So I think that can be really helpful, but for me, sometimes he got a little carried away. To be honest.
So Paul, was it the stories, or was it his sometimes his lack of being able to read you that you need that time? I'm just wondering, because I sometimes felt a little bit that way too, but I always chalked it up to he didn't know I was processing it.
Yeah, it might have been that.
I don't know. I just was thinking when you said that, I go, "Wow, I hadn't thought about it."
Yeah, there are a few times I would have appreciated if he asked me a question instead of told me
Instead
a
of tell a
story.
story.
Because I was thinking, and I need,
Well, really good point. And those of us who worked here for 14 years can appreciate that point. Anything else? I mean,
I don't know how you would do it differently, but I hated the networking part.
I agree.
I absolutely.
That's exactly what I was saying.
I agree.
If I was so intimidated by even starting that process, if I could have done anything
Yeah.
other than that, I would have. But yeah, it was the most. I know.
Exactly
I
why
said
you
that's
did
why
it.
I didn't want
Part
to
of
say
it.
anything. It was
Yeah.
the most valuable part of the process in the end. I mean, and just as Ray said, the people that you least expect will be the most valuable
Sure.
in this process.
I've never
are the
met
ones
anybody
that
who said,
absolutely.
I love the network.
Oh,
Please let me go
God.
do it.
I like.
Nobody.
I actually loved the networking. I loved it.
Are you an extrovert? I mean, you strike me as.
yeah, I am.
Well,
It was
because
easy for
I
me.
read a book after I did core themes. It's called Quiet. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's just excellent because I'm absolutely an introvert, and like even things like this, like I'm like I could just sit on my couch by myself with my dog instead. But I do them because I can, and I'm an adult and I get through them. And generally, I end up having a nice time. But I think that that was part of the reason it was so hard for me is because I'm an introvert.
But is it a critical part of the program for you?
It wasn't necessarily a critical part for me. I think what might have helped even a little bit was whether Ray talked me through sort of, or maybe just helping connect me to the first three people, and then I found, because I was just like, I don't know who to call. Like, who am I calling? Like, my friend's mom? Like, it was just really hard to get any momentum. And if you're terrified of it anyway, then you're not. So.
I feel for you. I mean, I am a huge extrovert, obviously, and I was so intimidated by that part of the process.
Well, that's good to know that you're an extrovert and you were too. 'Cause
Why?
Brutal. I think I was afraid to ask for help. Or, it was one of those so fiercely independent, so, always willing to help anyone. But I had to actually rely on people who were friends of mine to do me a favor or spend time to talk with me. I just didn't even want to ask.
So let me ask a question.
It was
If Ray
horrible.
asked me to network with you, which he did, because that was part of the process, what would that feel like?
That was a lot easier for me. People that I knew that had gone through the process, that was easier. But when you start making that spider web of connections and the next person to talk with and people that you're just friendly with, but then you have to say to them, oh, would you mind, can we go get a cup of coffee? I'd like to talk with you about me, sort of what I want to do and how can you help me? That was paralyzing. It really was.
Well, it was an interesting part. I mean, I'm sure probably other people have had the experience where Ray has said, go talk to this person. And so it's sort of a reversal of roles in a way and puts you out there and you can learn from what they're doing. That's the way I looked at it. You're hearing what their process is.
But I thought of the people that I talked with, and of course there were so many beaners that had gone through the process that you knew, Dave, and I knew Jim, and that was comfortable for me, and that was. But I sort of looked at that as two different things. I looked at it as talking to people that I knew that went through the process that I could bounce ideas off of was different than this networking thing that was way too scary to even start tackling. So I didn't think of it the same way, but if there was some way to have that feel like I was starting the networking process but in a safer zone, I think that might have been better for me.
How would that be? What would that look like?
Just meeting with other core themes people first to kind of get your feet under you,
Right.
I mean,
before you were sent out to meet with the public.
The big scary public.
well, and I also think
I'm
there's
scared now.
Most valuable.
But
I'm just
You can
scared
call all of us and network with us. You've let us know.
But
I think there's also a perception when you call someone a network that they're like, oh, geez, what does this person want from me? And so,
Get off my
and
phone.
I mean, I don't take it that way because I've been through core themes, and I understand if someone says they want a network that I probably have nothing to offer you in terms of a job, but I'd love to sit and talk to you about who you are and what you do and what you're interested in. But and some of it, maybe that's just me projecting what I think other people think when I call them to network. I don't know. It was definitely hard because it was the same like putting people out and like, oh, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're busy and
People feel the way you do, though. You have to.
well, and
I think.
which is true. I think, but it's
most do.
maybe I just need
Let me
therapy.
just- my experience was very different. Again, I was the fast track. I guess I had plenty of years in which I was ready to go. So I had no problems picking up the phone and calling a stranger, the delivery boy, whoever it was, let's talk. And one of the issues that I had was the information that was coming out of my mouth was not registering. A lot of people thought early midlife crisis, I got nothing for you. I could never, and I went through, probably Ray thinks that I didn't do enough, but I could tell that the people that I was talking to were not relating to what I was saying. And so I could never find the hook. They were okay to sit. I never had a problem reaching out to a total stranger and saying, let's go, look, I just quit my job. But I could never throw a hook at them to let them figure out, where can I place you? The problem that I had was, you're an attorney, what can you do? Well, let's get you a legal job. So all roads led back to Right Express or the big companies in Maine. And if I had said, wait a second, I don't want to be an attorney, that's the whole point, then conversation stopped for, you're on your own, kid, I can't help you. And a lot of the things that Ray had suggested for me to say, such as, mention your core themes. In fact, sometimes when I said that I had worked with Drake and Lacey, a lot of people assumed you were kicked out. And so I had to, part of the conversation was spent saying, no, just because I quit my job or did something that you wouldn't have done, that doesn't mean that I was kicked out. In fact, I just quit my job. I had it. So I think there's a little bit of a problem with an outplacing company doing core themes, because then I had to gain, and again, I work with attorneys, I place attorneys. If you don't have a job, it's always harder to find a job. And most people thought that I had been let go. So that was one issue. The second one is, if I mention core themes to all of you, that means something.
Mm-hmm.
But to even my wife, core themes is craziness. What are you talking about? Explain to me, can you do Excel? Have you worked on project management? What do you mean this core theme? It means nothing to me, and in fact, you're just crazy. So it's been great meeting you. And I had a lot of people like that. I mean, the one thing that perhaps worked out of the toolkits that Ray gave me was hit them up with 2 names. Don't let them go before you give me 2 names. But didn't matter. The result was always the same for me.